get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and me. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and they. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.
Welcome to another episode of Drinking After Dark, a podcast where we discuss random topics while having a few drinks. I'm your host, Darius, and as always, drink responsibly. And y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe to Drinking After Dark podcast YouTube channel. Tonight, I'm drinking on Crown Royal Vanilla. I'm just drinking that straight and everything. So I'm feeling back to myself again. Last week I wasn't feeling this well, but this week I am. So I'm back to my Crown Royal Vanilla. Um, Hope everybody's having a great week. Had a great weekend last weekend. I know the weather's starting to change. Spring is around the corner, so I know a lot of you guys are y'all can't wait for that. So I know I can't wait for the spring weather to kick in. I know it's kind of been up in the air right now. You know, with this type of weather, you know, it'll be 70 degrees one day, then the next day, here, especially in my hometown of Clarksville, it'll be like 45 the next day. So I'm just ready for the springtime to get here. So, you know, that's my favorite season. Why? Because my birthday's in the spring. All right, y'all. Let's go and get into it. This one thing I want to talk about involves an athlete at his camp. If y'all don't know, basically the video went viral. Cam Newton, basically he got jumped. Nobody really got hurt, but it was a bad look. You know, it was a camp that he was doing, and obviously a video came out of him and a few young people jumping him and everything like that. I mean, nobody got hurt. I was sitting there looking at the video. I'm like, man, y'all. First off, Cam Newton's a big dude. I mean, come on, man. He's about what 6'4", 6'5", 250. That's a big dude right there. And I've heard a bunch of sports analysts and former athletes speak on this. And do I think this is a bad look for Kim? Yeah, but I don't think it's much of a bad look for him as those who participated in this camp. Um, One thing about it is with his camps, this has been going on for a couple of years. You know, you have these little young, um, no, somewhat talented, football players, up and coming, go to the camp to learn from a guy who's been in the league, who played at the highest level, who was won an MVP in the NFL. And you got these little young dudes out here talking trash to a guy who's trying to teach them the game of football to help them get not only to the next level in college, but also to the NFL. And I think that we saw that clip a couple of years ago. Now you see this. Um, it's unfortunate that athletes who take the time out to really try to give back to their community by teaching the game, showing them the way to actually get to the level that a lot of these kids want to get to. And we're not talking just about football, but you're talking about basketball and baseball, and you know, you have hockey camps out there. You have tennis and you have golf, all of that stuff. You have these pro athletes that come back and really try to give back to the community, but it seemed like um, they kind of they mess up opportunities for the big time athletes to really come back to the community and really take the time out their day to really teach them the game of football. This that scene, you know, it wasn't a pretty sight because you gotta think, um, it's a lot of things. To me, do parents kind of encourage that behavior? Probably because if you don't discipline your child, they're gonna grow up become undisciplined adults. That's what you get. And then two, to have somebody record it and nobody really, come to the defense. Now, I don't know if there was security there. Probably not, because they look at it as like, man, nothing's gonna pop off, whatever. But I don't think he had security there to really stop this, but it escalated to a point where um, now you have a lot of athletes that's basically saying, this is why I don't do camps. I don't come back to the community. I don't do this stuff because, these kids don't know how to act, right? They don't know how to take coaching. They don't know how to do this. They don't know how to do that. And I just think that me personally, um, all the attitude stuff starts at home, right? The discipline starts at home. I always thought, to me, greatest is a sport. Sports is kind of like the greatest thing on the planet, because one thing it does, it teaches you discipline. It teaches you um, how to um, train, how to take direction. That's what coaching is. Coaching is direction in a sense, right? How to work as a team, work well with others, and not only that, but it also teaches young kids to socialize and also make friends, because it's a sport where you have to be open and communicate with one another, right? So I always think that sports is like the greatest thing on the planet. But now you have this new generation of kids that can't take direction, they can't take coaching. You're going to talk bad to a guy who played at the highest level, right? Who played in the biggest game in football, who has won an MVP, and yet he's still being disrespected by the young kids. And at that point, if I'm Cam Newton, I'm like, why am I continuing to do this? I'm not going to continue to ride with this. Why? Because kids don't have discipline. They don't have respect. The parents is, I don't know if the parents is letting this go or whatever, but I think that, now you're seeing other athletes just saying, why am I doing this? Do I really want to do this? If, now I don't know what policies that, Cam Newton had in place for his camps, anything like that. I'm pretty sure when it comes to camps, they pretty much have like a zero tolerance policy with anything, especially when, when kid or these parents who pay for these kids to go to camps, they feel entitled, which that's not the case. Um, they go there to learn from the best, one of the best to ever play. And to have that happen, right? I think it's just a bad look. Now let's just take this on the flip side. What if Cam Newton was to hurt one of those kids? You could say that he was pretty much in the right because he was defending himself. Then what's going to happen? Kid get hurt. What they going to try to do? Sue Cam Newton. But yet you got the whole tape of him basically getting jumped. So if he would have hurt one of those kids, I ain't gonna be mad. I ain't gonna be mad. I ain't gonna be mad. Maybe because the reason why I say that is because you know it's this thing is that you can't cross everybody. Some people might not be as merciful. You see what I'm saying? Cam Newton, he understands the position that he's in, and he got to be a little bit more careful. But when you cross somebody who ain't got nothing to lose, that's a scary situation. So I think that uh, if I'm Cam Newton, I'll pretty much just stop the camps. I ain't coming back. Go figure it out. On your own, go figure it out. I don't really care. I think it's just one of those situations uh, where, and here's the thing: when it comes to that on that level, just imagine, right? You in high school. Are you being really coached and disciplined by your high school coach, right? Because when it gets to the college, these coaches make way more money than the players. Even though some of the top players have NIL deals, these coaches don't care. They make more than the college players still. So therefore, when the coach get in your face, what you gonna do? See what I'm saying? What you gonna do? And that starts at the lower levels, right? In order to make it to each level, you gotta know how to be coached. You got to have discipline. You have to have respect and everything like that. Especially coming from a guy who is trying to teach you how to get to not only play the game, but teach you how to play on the highest level. You know what I mean? So, and unfortunately, you got a lot of these communities want these superstars to come back. Do give back to the community. Now they're like, this is why we don't do it. You know what I mean? Or if you wanted us to do camps, y'all gonna have to come over here, pay all your money to send them over here, because I'm not going back over there, right? So, it, if I'm Cam Newton, if you're watching this Cam Newton, I would tell you, hey, stop your camps, man. Stop your camps, or put uh put more rules into place that's going to prevent this from happening again. So that's just my viewpoint on it. Uh, man, that was a bad look. I don't know if anybody saw it. I'm pretty sure you can go see it. I mean, it's floating around there, so it was just a bad look. And for those who are, I don't think I've heard anybody defend the participants of the camp and everything like that. Because I think to me that's just, is it a normal thing that you'll see? Yeah. Anything in youth sports, you see it all the time, man. It's like, I don't know what it is about youth sports. It's like you have adults, like I said, I've said this before. I think the worst thing about youth sports is the parents, because you got a lot of these parents who are going to live through their kids because they didn't make it. So they're going to live through their kids, and they're going to go harder just on the ground level, right? You're talking about like pee-wees and all of that. And you see it happened when I was a kid. When I played youth basketball, I've seen parents get to fight at my games, right? So that stuff happens. And I think it's like, okay, these parents need to understand, first off, kids don't care if they win or lose. They just playing the game. They're having fun. They're learning. This is like the learning curve, right? To learn the game, right? It starts at that level. You have men and women who take the time out of either their careers, jobs, whatever, to give something back, to teach them whatever sport. I don't care if it's basketball, football, soccer. Um, it could be tennis, golf. Whatever. They're coaching, they're teaching, um, and they're really giving back. You know, in the sense of doing that, teaching them. If they're real coaches, teaching them how to play the game the right way. Um, that's what I think, and I just think that you start seeing it now with these camps, right? Everybody's so quick to have a phone. Everybody's trying to go viral, trying to antagonize this person. Um, excuse me, that the other person. I think it's just something that needs to stop. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't think if you don't think that these players don't have the connections, and you don't think these scouts on the college level, especially on the college level, don't do their homework on an individual kid, a player, you sadly mistaken, because they do. They really do. And they're gonna ask questions why this took place. Because if you think they only doing on the pro level, shoot, these college programs, they got money too. They got money too, and they're gonna ask questions. So, your everything comes into question now. A lot of times, it's not just a talent; it's a character. So I just think that, um, I don't know what was said after that. We don't know the aftermath. I don't know if Kim addressed the situation privately, whatever he probably did, or he might did it on his podcast. I haven't checked it out, but I just think that that's a situation that should have never happened. And you know, if you're a parent of uh, some of these players, I think if you had to talk, excuse me, if you had to talk with them, then good. If not, shame on you, right? Um, Speaking of uh youth and everything, this is something I here's a funny part, right? I want to talk about this. Um, Actually, it was a conversation I had back what was it? What's it a couple of weeks ago? A few weeks ago? Yeah, I think it was back in was this Super Bowl Sunday? If I'm not mistaken, was this Super Bowl Sunday? Me and my cousin, we had this conversation, right? And I wanted to talk about this because I've experienced it myself. And in the NBA, you see a lot of guys get injured, right? Especially early on in their careers. And one thing I start to really think about it from basically the middle school level, high school level, you have AAU basketball that's going on, right? I mean, you have AAU basketball even like fourth, fifth grade, but really like middle school, high school level, you have AAU basketball. And uh this is my honest opinion about AAU basketball. I don't know if I think AAU basketball mostly reflects college in a way in terms of recruiting. What's different is on a college level, they really coach and they practice. On the AAU level, not so much. And I'm gonna break this down why. One, I think a lot of guys who coach AAU are not coaches. They put together a team so they can, feel like they can coach and things like that. And they don't really practice as much, especially if you're on a big national team. It's very hard to practice. A local team, you can practice and everything like that. I played on a local team. I played on a statewide team, and on a local team, it's kind of like you can have like your 2 days to practice before you go out to a tournament and everything like that. Um, if you're on a bigger team where you might have players that's from this city or even that state, it's uh it's very hard to do, right? So AAU is basically um when you go against teams, you can tell it's really all about talent. That's all it is. Ain't nothing but a glorified pickup game at these AAU tournaments. And not only that, but this is my honest opinion. There are pros and cons in terms of the AAU circuit. For a lot of guys who are looking to get discovered by these college coaches, um, this is their opportunity to go out there and really show what they can do. Because based on the high school that they play at, coaches probably won't even come see them play unless they're playing in this tournament, right? Um, if you're if you're one of the top players in the country, and this is just my honest opinion, if you're one of the top players in the country, I don't think AAU is the best route for you, right? Because if you already got the college coaches coming to you, right? Why are you playing all these games during the summer? Because when you play AAU games, you playing a whole lot of games. You might play two, maybe even three games in one day, right? So now, by the time you get to college, and this is what people don't understand, when you play so many games, right? All those miles start to add up on your body. It's the reason why, if you're one of the top players to actually make it to the NBA, and you want to know why in your second or third season, your body's breaking down because you're playing so many games on that level, which you shouldn't have to, right? Um, And that's like the conversation me and my cousin had. I told him there were times where I got back from a tournament and then I have to chill out for 1 week. Now I'm gone to a whole nother city for another tournament, right? And and that's not even coincide to doing team camps for your high school team because you kind of do that during the summer as well. I think you do that like you might go to two different camps in high school, but you do that so you playing so much basketball right during the summer. It's kind of like your body tends to break down, right? And if you already got my thing is this, if you already have a college that's coming after you, you're already committed. I understand you want to continue to play, you want to stay in shape and all that stuff, continue to play, but at the same time, I don't think you need to play as many games on that level, especially if you already have a major Division 1 offer or a couple of offers, right? On a Division 1 level or even a Division 2 level. You know what I mean? But if you're trying to get to the Division 1 level, I understand. You want the Division 1 coaches to come look at you, to come check you out. If you already ranked nationally like top 50, top 100, what is that actually doing for you? You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you're going to be teaming up with other guys that's ranked top 100 nationally as well. So by the end of the day, um, pros and cons to the AAU ball, but the amount of games that a lot of these players are putting in and they're not really taking the proper rest, and all of that stuff, it kind of takes a toll on them. That's why, you start seeing a lot of players, ACLs and Achilles and all that stuff because all the amount of games they played early on and they don't think about that. So when you're talking about like players resting when they get to the league, hell, it starts on that level. You know, not saying you don't need an AAU season. You don't need that many damn tournaments. And you don't need to play that many games, especially in one day. A lot of times they try to fit so many games into like a few days. It's like your body's not really resting. You see what I'm saying? So that's just my opinion. But there's pros and cons to it, man. If you're a good player out there, AAU, it is a good place for you to get seen, get noticed. These college coaches they do come out to the big tournaments and everything to check you out. So if you do that, man, listen, more power to you. If you're one of the top players in the country, man, you don't really have to play an entire summer. I mean, that's just my opinion. You don't really have to. You're already at that point. You just got to make sure you take care of your body because more than likely that's your livelihood right there. We pretty much see in high school that you're going to get to the league. So that's just my honest opinion about it. And I kind of wish you actually had some guys out there who can really coach. Know how to draw plays, who know how to put together defensive schemes and everything like that. Understand time and possession, and stuff like that. Understand how the game works because the game could be there's so many factors into the game in terms of the officiating, how they're gonna let you play, um, how to adjust, in game adjustments, based on how things are going and stuff like that. So, um, and there is some guys out there who do coach AAU ball, who coach on the high school level at least. We've seen some that do coach on the college level, and stuff like that. Of course, there's rules in place for them to where they can't coach uh their uh their players on their school teams. But yeah, I just think that by the end of the day, um, Charles Barkley said that he don't like the AAU circuit. A lot of people don't like the AAU circuit. Some people like it. It gives people opportunities. Also, I would say this too. Um, if you're a player out there that you believe you're a good player that could play on the next level, if you got a family member, whoever that could create, um, a CD or a video compilation or some with your games, you could send it off to coaches to do your own recruiting. You see what I'm saying? They have them come to you because a lot of times they don't find the best players. Sometimes you got to go get them. So I would just say that as well. Even in football, man. You can play on the next level, man. You got somebody that could record your games and send it to coaches for you. Do that, man. Do that because there's a lot of players out there that can play on the next level. There's a lot. Sometimes they might overlook a few people. So I think that's something that could be done. Um, and the thing, and sometimes you got people who start these organizations too. You got like I always said, the game will always change, it will always evolve. But sometimes people shouldn't even be a part of the game. Sometimes they shouldn't. It's just my honest opinion. I think analytics should be out the way. Analytics has no place in the game of sports, period. So it ruins the game to me. Um, it's just my opinion, right? So that's just how it is. All right, y'all, man. Listen, I'm glad you guys tuned in with me with this episode. There's something I'm going to talk about uh hopefully within the next couple of episodes, but I got hit of a couple people. Um I think it's kind of very important, especially if you live in the state of Tennessee, if you don't know what's going on. Um, we'll talk about that, especially when it comes to education. But I just want to say thanks for you guys for tuning in. Uh, New episodes are uploaded every Friday, so you can catch it on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever you listen to podcasts. Um, and if you have any suggestions, what I should try and everything like that, y'all please hit me up. Comment below. You can send a DM to my social media pages at Drinking After Dark Podcast. You can either send it through Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. I'll try it out. So, uh, yeah, man, continue to support, man. Continue to tell your friends and family about the podcast. Until next time, I'm Darius. We out. Peace.
Gotta get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and me. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and they. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.